to the show. Are you ready for a ride? Yeah, you better buckle up and hold on tight. Where the bayou city streets meet the country roads. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Are you ready for a ride? Yeah, you better buckle up and hold on tight. Where the bayou city streets meet the country roads. Where the bayou city streets meet these country roads. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
All right. Welcome. Week 3, 11 deep Dawgcast. Appreciate everybody coming here, watching. All right. Well, let's jump into it today. Not the best start from the number one team in the country. Yet another victim of a slow start. Uh, I've got some points I want to point out. Things that I've seen, things that I disliked, and then we'll get into. Of course, I'll bring in Caleb, and we're also going to talk a couple other games that happened this weekend. So let me jump right in. I'm going to start negative Nancy because that kind of seems to be the theme for all teams in the SEC, or most teams at least. As you might see, the title of the video is "So We Think We Thought." College football does what it wants. We thought we were elite, and we certainly did not look it, especially in the first half. I had a lot of issues. I'm going to start with offense. Carson Beck was slightly slow, but I'm not going to put a lot on him in particular. I think he executed pretty well. There's a couple throws that he'd like to have back, but I think he did okay. I wish our rhythm was a little more tempo to it, a little more pace. Um, I think anytime we had any kind of momentum, it just got fizzled out. And credit to South Carolina, they were giving us hell that whole first half. I mean, obviously they were leading. We were scoreless. Our field goal kicker. Um, I don't want to see that freshman back out there for the rest of the year. I don't know what Kirby's seen during practice, but he's not the guy. He missed 2 of 3, including. Well, I guess he made that extra. No, he missed that extra point, didn't he? Yeah. Uh, so just not good, not good. Um, More on the offense. The offensive line in the first half hurt my soul. Um, Carson Beck, let alone the run game. The run game, like, we couldn't get going. We I feel like Georgia's tendency is to try to run it up the gut, run it up the gut. And it drives me up the damn wall. Because this day and age, I feel like this day and age in football, you need to air the ball out a little bit, throw it downfield, uh, even screens out to the side, quick pitch routes, end arounds, everything, something to open up the defense and get them away from crowding the line. Because every time we hand the ball off, regardless of who it was, and thank God we had Edwards back in, because he was a damn workhorse today. But in the first half, when we would hand the ball to him and he would go up the gut, he'd get stopped immediately because they knew it was coming. I knew it was coming before the fucking ball was even snapped. So the defense definitely already knew, and it's nothing new to Georgia. That's what we do. again, I think this day and age uh, we need to be airing out the ball a little bit and testing the defense, poking and prodding. Carson Beck was throwing a lot of safe throws, not a whole lot of deep balls that we've seen. Like I said, there was one that he would have liked to take just a hair off of to Bowers, but um, other than that, just the short, the Stetson Bennett special right over the middle, midway up the field, uh, perfect. It's keeping the defense on their heels, keeping them backed up. So then all of a sudden we get to explode up the damn middle, which we saw in the second half. Um, so I don't know, man. Uh, so yeah, the offensive line was just miserable in the first half. Um, but of course, it did end up getting better. I don't know if that was a result of South Carolina not being able to keep pace with us, or what. But uh, so let me pivot to defense, and um, one of my main issues with defense was one. Dan Jackson was responsible for that first touchdown that we gave up. And I don't know what's happened to him this year, but he's not a prolific safety for us this year. The only competent man we have back there is Malachi Starks, and thank God we have him. Um, Corners, you could see our injuries, and the people that are in there are not super high class. They're not elite, man. We number 6, Dalen Everett. Um, I was calling him out the whole game. Almost every single big chunk play pass that South Carolina had on us today was his coverage. And he allowed too much separation, got lost on the field, and then failed to execute tackles afterwards. We had a lot of tackling issues too. I don't know what happened to JDJ today, or Pops, whatever everybody wants to call him, number 10. Spencer Rattler ran right past him and left his ankles 10 yards from him. I don't know what that was about. That was maddening. Hopefully we can clean that shit up. He's supposed to be our best linebacker. Let's get it addressed, Kirby. I believe in Kirby. I believe in this team. But that was fucking ugly. And the second half was much, much better. Okay. So I think there's growth. I think we're going to be all right. I don't think it's the end. All right. Well, we got 20 in a row. Here's the new streak.
Gotta
All
do a
right.
do, motherfucker.
Yeah. How about that?
Woo!
Oh boy. So I think both of us would like to consult Antonio about today. What do you think?
So
Hang
my
on, let's
What do you think, Antonio?
the I'm not really one for moral victories,
yeah.
but if ever there's a definition of a moral victory, it would be that game right there. Because especially when you listen to the College Game Day cast, and for not only did everyone pick Georgia, which of course you would, but you got Pat McAfee going, get ready to see 20 sacks by Georgia. You got
to be fair, all signs pointed to that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But to give no shot when this team is more talented than the team that beat y'all in 2019, I just think it's to give no shot in a sport that we constantly see things like this happen. I tell you who I really love. I love this guy so much. Peyton Woodring. I love him. He is an incredible kicker, and y'all should keep him out there for every game.
No. You're sorely mistaken, sir. That was atrocious. I don't know how
I thought a Georgia kicker missing a field goal looked familiar.
He was the top kicker for the 2023 class.
Yeah, so was the guy with the glasses.
How?
So was the guy with the glasses.
The guy with the dude. We will not tolerate hot rod slander here.
He still missed.
Rodrigo Blankenship was a walk-on and earned his scholarship, and
he still missed the kick.
He's missed a couple, sure. Most kickers do, but oh my lord. Let me see here. How many sacks did we end up getting? Defense
2, 3.
Yeah, three sacks is all we got.
Respectable.
Yeah. Y'all got quite a few though. Let me see here.
The thing I liked the most was
y'all got 2.
You opened talking about tempo. And I think that was something South Carolina really had coming out of the gate.
That's what y'all had.
11 play, 5 minute, and I think 2 second trip down the field for a touchdown. With some just beautiful passes. If I was gonna say Georgia, God, I can't want to say Germany. If I was going to say Georgia wants to be wary of something, it's the fact that y'all let a quarterback named Luke Doty catch several passes today. Yeah. We put Luke Doty out there to catch passes.
What the hell happened to Juice?
I don't know yet. I got some people that I know down there.
Something about maybe a possible fracture.
I'm trying to get like an actual word from the actual facility. I know some people up there that know people. And I'm trying to actually find out what the actual prognosis is. I don't think we'll actually hear anything from coaches or anything until tomorrow's press conferences. Rumors though, I'm not seeing anything on rumors.
Yeah, I just scanned the game
Twitterverse
overhaul on ESPN. It didn't say anything injury
report.
But
look, did I start this with the moral victory thing? Okay. I couldn't remember right now you said that.
Well, I mean, we still.
How about the fucking dogs?
Hey, we're still alive.
Yeah,
We
no,
survived in
no, it's still
advance,
alive.
and that's what we did today. Unfortunately, we just had to survive.
Yeah.
And
But I
hey,
saw.
we wanted an entertaining game, as Georgia
Well,
fans. And
we got one.
we fucking got one.
We
I
sat
think we
here.
got a little more than we asked for.
We sat here last week, and I said we were going to win 29-26, and obviously we didn't win. But if you're not going to win a game, at least cover the spread, and we did that. A lot of people lost money on this game.
Yeah.
Because
Honestly,
I think you texted me this week and said I would take the over, and boy, you would have lost money too,
dude. My prediction was 48-6.
You still would have lost money because that wasn't even the over.
Oh yeah, well yeah, it was.
I think the prediction was 56 points.
Oh, for the game total? Oh
Yeah.
No, I thought I was thinking more like spread wise. The spread was 27.
But no, look, it's after that UNC game, I was genuinely concerned what the season would look like. I thought we'd have that. Thought we were going to have a sophomore slump a year late.
Yeah.
But after seeing that O-line actually decide to play football today, after seeing that D-line really just shut y'all down in that first half.
Nah,
and
you ain't kidding.
And a decent part of the second half too. Y'all came out fast in that second half, scored 14 points, and that was it.
And our defense was on fire too. I will say that's something about your offensive line is our defensive linemen are no fucking joke, and y'all held up against them.
Yeah,
our offensive line is a fucking joke, but our defensive line is not a joke.
Yeah, if our offense can do that against Georgia, what can they do against Vandy, Florida,
y'all got a chance.
Missouri, Tennessee? No offense, Matt.
Right. We'll bring him in.
There's one other team I can't remember, but I think we got a decent shot to have. If they have to go out there and they have to play 60 minutes of football. That's the problem, and that's the problem South Carolina has had for years, for decades. Is South Carolina teams don't genuinely like to play 60 minutes of football. Sometimes they'll play 58 minutes of football, which is great. You usually win those games. But we've seen, especially in the Will Muschamp, we've seen teams play, 20 minutes of football. And the problem is when during those 20 minutes, it's incredible. It's like if you remember, and he'll remember it, the Carolina-Tennessee game 2 years ago. Tennessee got up quick, got up like 28-3, I think, in the first quarter. And then South Carolina decided to play football.
Let me bring him in.
Yeah. And then South Carolina decided to play football. And it started to look like, holy crap, this is going to be a game. And if we had played the whole game, good chance we'd have won. But when you go down 28-3 early, well, you're not going to win unless you're New England.
Yeah. Oof. This season is wild. Like our game wasn't even the craziest game of the week. Like there's been Alabama had a very weird game there for a little while with South Florida.
By the way, the Colorado game is still tied at 14.
No, it just changed.
Did State just score?
Colorado State just scored on a thread the needle kind of pass into the end zone. It's pretty good play.
That so far has been a turnover battle.
I really want Colorado to lose. I really want them to lose.
Yeah, they need a little humble pie up there.
Oh, heck yeah.
Before I forget, to remind you, So far, we're going just for this first half of the game. Has Game Day picked the correct game this week?
Okay, where was game day today? 'Cause
Colorado.
game
It's at
day,
Colorado.
the SEC Nation.
Yeah, so college game day
Right.
is that Colorado game.
Thinking about the other options.
I think we were an option. They wouldn't have gone though because they went to our game 2 weeks ago.
Well, we seem too lopsided. Honestly, I think they should have went to Tennessee, Florida.
Tennessee, Florida.
Yeah, there weren't
Yeah.
a whole lot of games to get really fired up about this weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah. That one's got a lot of storylines to it, though.
Yeah, a lot of history there.
I'm looking at the schedule for this week, and there's
nothing really pops.
There's nothing. I mean, they weren't going to Florida State and Boston College. That's not anything to get worried about.
And of course, CBS got our game, so ESPN has to stay away from it.
Game Day gets first call, then CBS at the 3:00 CBS gets second call.
I thought CBS gets first call.
Do they?
In the SEC, I think CBS.
I thought Game Day gets to pick. I thought ESPN gets to pick the very first game, and that's who Game Day goes to.
There's been plenty of games that CBS covers that Game Day goes to.
Oh, have there? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they don't have
maybe
their prime
CBS
time.
Gets the first game.
Usually they're prime time announcers, but ESPN's prime time announcers were in Tennessee, Florida. They had Fowler and Herb Street.
Yeah, dude. So the only thing I might have gone to, other than the Colorado game, and simply to talk about it, would have been the Washington Michigan State game, just to talk about because Washington's going to the Big Ten now, right?
I
can't even keep track of who's leaving.
Yeah, I can't tell you, dude. They're either going to the ACC or the Big Ten. Who knows?
Yeah, because it makes so much sense for the Atlantic Coast Conference to have a team on the Pacific Coast.
Yeah.
Not to mention,
Washington is joining the Big Ten next year. So that's the only reason I would have gone to that one. Because I think people would have tuned in to listen to that.
Right.
But Dion and his whole spiel and shtick makes, I guess, for good TV.
You can't deny that his charisma is an ingredient that is necessary in college football nowadays, especially to attract recruits and to garner attention. Dude, if you don't have eyes from the media, nobody sees you. Unless you just win your games, which is what Georgia's done. We haven't garnered the spotlight through sound bites and noise. We've done it by winning, right? But Colorado's doing it, and I'm not ready to admit that that's not a good strategy.
So this is my problem with what Colorado's doing. Colorado's going for flash, and Colorado seems like Fire Island. Seems like the Fire Festival.
There's sizzle now,
where it's flash and pretty, and then it turns out to be a bunch of tents with flat soda and stale bread for your sandwiches.
They're definitely.
I don't think it stands up.
Dion called one of Ohio State's top quarterback recruits who was going to go to Ohio State this weekend, called him on Thursday and convinced him to come to their game. So he's getting the attention. Yeah, they're the flavor of the month kind of thing.
But how is he getting the attention?
Being himself and
being himself. He's got the charisma. Yeah. He's got the swag or whatever they say.
He can connect with the players.
Yeah.
They idolize him. He's one of the best athletes of all time, not just football player, but athletes.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think he's
he's
second
got the
only to Bo
charisma.
Jackson. But that people 17, 18 years old, they only know Deion Sanders as a coach.
Mhm.
They don't know
Yeah.
him as an athlete.
Or
Well, it
athletic.
also helps
Both.
too that his son's playing, and he's like extra into it too, which makes
Yeah.
me wonder
I
because
don't know,
somebody put a
dude.
point out there.
That
before.
dude played at South Carolina for 2 years and wasn't worth the scholarship we offered him. So
He's playing with his hair on fire now, from what I was seeing.
yeah, and
But
the Pac-12.
it somebody made a good point that I seen the other week. That we wonder if he's interested in college now because he seems like he's made for college coach, right? Appealing to recruits. He wants to develop young men, but I wonder if once his son potentially goes to the pro level, if he's going to go pro level. Because I think he's going to garner enough attention for that to be on the table.
It happened. Yeah, it happens all the time. People are coming after Kirby Smart probably even all the time for pro or for
It's what
something.
I do
Bobby
not have a
Bentley
fear
did
of
with
that.
his son. Bobby Bentley was head coach for the depending on who you talk to in high school football, the best high school team in South Carolina. And Jake went to South Carolina, and he suddenly became the running backs coach. So that shit happens all the time.
You look at Coastal Carolina's coach. Big programs, even Tennessee went after him. A couple of years ago, and they got to be coming up and doing well. Norvell down at Florida State was at Memphis and was having success. It just happens you start getting a resume up. Now, Prime is a totally different character. He doesn't need money. He's got the money. Is he committed to building something where he is, or will he just take something that's a bigger stage, like Florida? I'm not saying
I think he's
going
going
to
to
Alabama.
because
Or even Alabama. What happens if
Let's
Nick
not
Wayne's?
sleep on Saban retiring and him taking Alabama, because I think he might be the only coach that could.
I can see that. That's conceivable.
You got to remember that Dabo Swinney has. I can't believe I'm talking about it, but Dabo Swinney.
Swinney's done.
Hang on. Has actual language in his contract for Alabama, and that language wouldn't be in the contract unless Jake, what's his name, who's his agent, knew something. So that's why. So the language basically says if he goes to any other team, he has to pay like $7 million, or maybe it's $5 million. If he goes to Alabama, he has to pay $7 million. If he goes to the NFL, he doesn't have to pay anything. So that's why I think this could be Dabo's last season in college. I think he's going to go try to do the NFL route, and I think he wants to succeed in the NFL because I think he wants to submit himself because he's as much as he likes to say he's not a team person. He's all about himself, and I think he wants to submit himself as the greatest coach of all time because he'll be the only one, with the exception of Pete Carroll, to succeed in college and succeed in the NFL. Pete Carroll is the only one, but Pete Carroll did it by coaching in the NFL for a long time, then going to go coach at Southern Cal, and then going back to the NFL. So Pete Carroll knew the differences. Nick Saban didn't know the differences. Steve Spurrier didn't know the differences. Urban Meyer didn't know the differences. So Lee Corso? No, sorry. LSU guy.
Brian Kelly?
No. After Nick Saban.
Ed Orgeron.
Miles. Yeah. Didn't Miles go to the NFL?
Oh, yeah. Les Miles. Yeah, Les Miles.
Yeah, he didn't know the difference. So we'll see. I think he wants to see if he can go up there and succeed and then maybe come back and take over somewhere. But I think he wants to find a way to get out of this money he'd have to give Clemson back.
Well,
But I
my
don't think
pushback-
Dion leaves next year.
Well, depends on what
Uh,
job comes available. I think that changes that conversation. But my pushback on Dabo being a possibility is we are seeing the evidence that Clemson is hurting because of his decisions to
Yep.
refuse to play along with the transfer portal and NIL.
Mhm.
And if you don't adapt, you get left behind. And he's not adapting. So
Bro, you need
I
that.
don't
sound
think
clip.
he's a
Adapt
hot
or
name.
die.
If Saban retired this year, I don't think Alabama would want him. I don't think so.
I think they definitely call him, and I think they'd probably
No way.
call him and basically say, look, we get sorry, I'm trying to mute a Discord server. And they probably call him and say, we get it. We get the shtick you had at Clemson. If you come here, will you keep that? And if he says no, well, they'll hire him. If he says absolutely, those are my beliefs, I don't think those are his beliefs. I think he backed himself in a corner with his whole community thing, and he feels like if he accepts the transfer portal, he'll be called a shill or a hypocrite, which he is, because he's constantly gotten people off of jail time and tickets and all that kind of stuff by driving over to the police and basically saying, hey, this guy's a good guy, when he's done really terrible stuff. But we don't need to talk about that, do we?
Well, how about that Florida and Tennessee game, Matt? You
it's
able
as
to watch most of it?
disappointing as it is. I've been the word of the week has been status quo in Gainesville, Florida. We are to Florida as Kentucky is to Tennessee, which means for some reason, even when we have a better team, when we go down there to play, we do not ever perform well. And Florida, even when they're bad, rises above and plays their best game.
Boy,
of the
the
season.
Swamp was absolutely rocking, though.
They got magic down there, man. There's magic in that stadium.
It is a top 5 hostile environment in college football, especially when you get up for big games.
I'm going to take this.
It's like Death Valley. It's like between the hedges is that way now. It's just one of them tough places to win. Tuscaloosa is that way.
I'm going to take this and run with it for a second. Okay. Georgia and Florida need to be a home and home. I don't want it in Jacksonville anymore. I understand tradition, and I feel for people that like it being there. One, Kirby doesn't want it there. King Kirby gets what he wants. But two, I would like to have to go down to the Swamp and play. I would like for them to come to Athens and play. That's one more home game every other year that we don't get. It's college football. We don't. I understand pro stadiums if it's the playoffs or whatever, right? But for regular season games and rivalry games, they need to be in the stadiums of the schools that are being represented. That's just me.
Yeah. As much as money matters these days, unless schools are just finding a way to make as much money doing that, I think for the true honor of the game, it ought to be played in your own home stadium. Enough of that neutral site. It's not even a neutral site. It's just bull crap.
Yeah, it's closer to Florida than it is to Georgia.
Yeah. Put it in your own stadium. Play like it's any other game. I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well,
I'm sick and tired of neutral games.
So, Matt, I was telling you backstage that I was surprised today from Tennessee's effort, because in that Virginia game, I thought y'all's defense looked stout, and the pressure you were sending was just amazing. and I don't know where that went today. Maybe the nerves and the SEC, the SEC opponent just scared them or something. But man, they had their way with y'all with the run game.
They came out and had a good plan. They were ready for us. Our defense was very flat first half, not prepared at all. It's I don't know what the reason is. Either they just were not. They prepared for the wrong thing all week. Maybe they thought Florida was going to try to hit them with some of these receivers they have, but it just seemed like they did whatever they wanted to in the first half, and we got gassed. We got gassed after the first quarter. Because our offense was inept, and that's another thing. I think the defense has kind of been the one bright shining thing, hope that we've had this year is like it's well improved over last year. But the offense, it's coaching, and it's our quarterback and our offensive line. Our offensive line is very weak.
Yeah, he was getting a decent amount of pressure. I felt like Milton actually settled in okay. Hell, he was 20 for 34, which isn't great, but that's not terrible. One interception, which is, I guess, y'all's first interception since like 2019. I think I seen.
Yeah, and that was kind of a fluke. I mean, he shouldn't have made. He tried to do a pass, like a half-armed pass when he was in.
Yeah, wasn't he hit as he threw, and it just kind of went up?
It wasn't like it was a straight pocket pass, and he just misread something. Yeah,
right. That was all Florida's pressure.
Exactly. He did not make the best decisions tonight. I don't think our coaching staff was ready. It took us off our tempo. And if you look at the highlights in the second half, we got into our tempo. We started getting some first downs and then getting some deep plays.
Y'all's last series was phenomenal. Y'all were just it was like last year with your absolutely as fast as you can possibly go. It was on point. You were right in the center of the field. Hit, get up to the line, hit. I mean, y'all just marched down, and then it petered out. But
it petered out. And then we had had Florida backed up with fourth down, and they did a hurry up to try to get us to jump off. You're not supposed to fall for that, and the senior jumped off sides. So, and we lost 2 minutes.
Too. So, like last week with Alabama, y'all's penalties killed y'all. I think y'all had 10.
Yep. A lot of mistakes. The refs didn't help us any at all tonight. Refs called some things. The ref kicked the ball on our hurry-up offense. He kicked the ball, held up the play so he could reset the ball, and they let Florida substitute when they're not supposed to. And then that caused us to go. I mean, there's a lot of different things, but the refs aren't the only reason we lost the game. But it's like nobody was on their game tonight except for Florida. That's all I can say. And it's just the way it goes down there. I was not surprised.
Trevor Etienne had him a day. He had 23 carries. He had 23 carries for 172 yards and 1 touchdown. Mm-hmm. And his longest run was a 62-yarder.
Yeah. Yeah, we just busted coverage.
Eating y'all alive. He had more yards than y'all's rushing total. Y'all's rushing total was only 100. He had more than that himself.
Yeah. Yeah, we surely make him look good down there. That's just what we do.
Man. I mean, and that contributes that that you can give a lot of props to the line for that, because a lot of the times, man, he was untouched for the first 8 yards. It wasn't until your secondary finally got to him, and then he had so much physicality that he would just. And that's one thing about my game. Is man, I wish a lot of our runners would have even 50% of the toughness as Brock Bowers, because Dude, that dude, it's like the third man that hits him and he finally goes down.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone else, you barely touch them and they fall down. We're getting there. Dylan Bell, which is a wide receiver and our second best running back on our team, he has a lot of physicality like that. I would say he's got close to 50% of Bowers, but Brock Bowers is just an animal. My wife's jaw was on the floor with one of the plays that he had. It looked like he was going to be stopped short, and he just ate. He just kept on moving. It was incredible. Oh shit, Daimio's up in here. Daimio, Ronnie, Gray Pilgrim, RG Energy, Roman. What's up, y'all? Appreciate y'all stopping by. Heck yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, I did watch a little bit of the second half of the Alabama game. Nick Saban did not hesitate pulling his quarterback out, and he put in Ty Simpson, who was from over here in West Tennessee, from a little town called Martin, and turned Tennessee down to go to Alabama. Showed some poise and helped them win. So,
and how about not even a sighting of Milrow?
Yeah,
that was surprising. I did not expect that whatsoever. I heard that Tyler Buckner was going to start. I didn't think Milrow was not going to see the field. My understanding is Saban's done got soft with these kids nowadays. That doesn't really seem to be the case. He still to completely hold out your quarterback. To me, that feels like he's telling him to sit down and think about what you've done. You know.
Yeah, and this was an opponent to you would think you could do that to, and it almost bit them in the ass.
Oh shit! They got a lot of cleaning up, but hey, apparently we're not really one to talk because we were sloppy, but we got out of there with a win. And
I'll tell you what.
I will say I'm much happier with our second half performance, and I'll say about Tennessee too. I think y'all had flashes of your potential. Again, we can go back to that last drive. Y'all were moving the ball down the field, and it's not like Florida had their second or third string out. You know, it was still Florida starters, and y'all were just marching down the field on them.
Yeah,
If y'all could find that beat again, which used to be y'all's identity, and I don't know why y'all went away from it. Maybe that's not Milton's strong suit, but boy, it was clicking, and I think y'all need to get back to it.
I don't think they had the confidence in Milton as they did with Hooker. We are a little depleted on the offensive line. Lost some good players, and then the draft, and also our center has been out. So there's some deficiencies, and I don't think he's got it. But yeah, we did not adapt. When we're playing our game and we're on, it's hard to stop unless you fake a calf injury and go down and give yourself time to catch your breath, which can't do anything about it until they change that rule or to stop that. But teams take advantage of it. But
yeah, that's a tough one. You can't. How can you try to call somebody on bullshit when it very well could be that that's touchy?
Yeah, it's hard.
It's got to be the coaches that make it stop. That's the problem. Is that's coached, because a lot of times the guy will look at the sideline and they do this shit, right? Like that's coached. That's not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. That's where it needs to be correct.
There's been obvious times where somebody has been pointed to, and he's jogging off the field, and he gets pointed at, and then all of a sudden, oh look, he gets a calf injury, and he goes down.
I will say, if you're hurt, go down. Don't try to be a man and get off the field and risk not getting off the field in time for the snap. Go down and stop. I understand that, but when you are running off and they're telling you to get down. That's complete bullshit. It's strategy, sure, you can make that argument, but it's dirty. There's no honor.
It's not in the spirit of the game.
No.
But so definitely they need to. I think they turned the option down to change that rule this year. But I wish that person. I think he needs to come out for at least that possession.
Mm-hmm.
But make the penalty, even if he's really hurt, he's not going to come back anyways. If he's faking it, make it to where he can't come in for the rest of that drive or maybe the next drive, whatever it is. Make it
kind of like
penalty enough
concussion
to make it not worth the
protocol.
game. Yeah. Because if he is hurt, okay, well, we want to make sure he's going to be okay, and you're not putting his his health in danger.
Right.
So, maybe it's 5 minutes or whatever. Just find some way to penalize you for it.
Something. Yeah. At least a handful of plays or something. Yeah. I don't know.
So Caleb, looking forward, I've heard that South Carolina's offensive line was a little weak, but they sure didn't show it today. They showed.
Oh yeah.
So they showed some fight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. Boy,
next weekend,
mad, let me tell you.
Next weekend is going to be a pretty good game.
Who do you got next weekend?
Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Boy, they got boat race today by LSU.
State.
Well, I'll tell you what I love about it. Last Monday was the 22nd anniversary of 9/11, and almost perfectly, it's the 22nd anniversary of South Carolina and Mississippi State opening college football back up. So if you remember, after 9/11, it took 2 weeks, and then college football played again. And the first D1 team to play was South Carolina and Mississippi State. So I would
Did not know that.
I would be curious to see if they do anything with that. I know Darude's coming and is playing a concert for Carolina. I'm hoping he's gonna do something special with Storm in the stadium. That'd be pretty fun to watch. Yeah, and night game. We got them fancy LED lights too. Should be a pretty good game.
Heck yeah. Well, so y'all got Mississippi State, Georgia. We've got UAB. So another.
Did you say UAB?
Yeah. Yeah, we got the old Dragons. Another get-right game, I guess. Hopefully. Hopefully we can quit this slow start and shit. Because I don't. And I'll say, too, to the Mike Bobo hating crowd, yes, the play calling wasn't my favorite thing.
Oh, right. You got another one of them, too.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's classic. But
all right, look, anyone that served as offensive coordinator under Will Muschamp should just quit. And teams need to stop hiring them.
Well, I think Mike Bobo does a fine job. I think some of the calls, like my initial rant, I think we need to focus on the pass to open up the run, not the other way around. That doesn't work in this day and age because it's too easy to crowd the box and to just stop the run. When our offensive line isn't physical enough to go up against South Carolina, or not even South Carolina, but our other games, we struggled running the ball too. You have to lighten the defense up by spreading the ball out. You have to. You can't just cram it down our throat. I'd love to be able to see that. Like at the tail end of the game when we had South Carolina gassed, we leaned on you and we ran the ball. But that was late in the game.
And even
conditioning was a factor. Weather was a factor, and we had already broke y'all by then.
Even that guy, I forget your running back's name.
Edwards.
Yeah, he's not that guy. He is not
Yeah.
Nick Chubb. He is
No.
not
Sony Michelle.
Gurley.
He's not
Sonny
DeAndre
Michel.
Swift.
He's not those guys.
He's not Zeus. Yeah, no, he's the best we have currently, unfortunately, due to injury. But and a wide receiver is our number 2 guy, running back wise.
Okay, our
And then
number
I think it's Cash
number 2
Jones.
wide receiver right now is a friggin' second straight quarterback. So,
Yeah.
and hey, our starting quarterback 2 years ago was a grad assistant. So, I mean,
Yeah.
Football is a crazy world, and
Oh, how the turntables.
yeah, to quote Michael Scott.
That's right. Well, this is why we love college football. Not good for the blood pressure, but I guess good for the soul sometimes. But
Amen.
well, boys, I appreciate y'all being here. I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up. We're 50 minutes in.
That was good.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else unless y'all have something, another point.
Oh,
Actually, yeah. Who does
I do
Tennessee
wanna
have
share
next
something.
week?
I do want
Tennessee has UT San Antonio, I believe. So it's a get right game for us. We got a lot to work out before we go play the Cox.
Gotcha. So I guess we're going to be watching South Carolina next week.
So,
Yeah.
Doug, here is a video. I think we should play this. And I want everyone to watch the bottom right of the screen. Okay? I think it's a very funny thing. Whenever we watch Florida play football, we get to watch some really funny stuff. You know, usually it's just Florida. Usually it's like 2 offensive linemen pushing against each other like they're defenders in the middle of a game. But every now and then we get a funny thing involving the other team. And I think this is a really great example of that.
Okay. Let me share screen. Boop. There.
Now watch the bottom right of this.
In the second half. So in 4th and 16, they'll run around as the clock ticks down. And now get knocked down as he took a knee. A flag comes out, and that is a fitting ending to things.
Here we go.
Yeah, this is ugly.
Yeah,
Look at them. Look at them.
yeah, they're set up like it's a freaking game of knock 'em sock 'em.
UFC.
Yeah, I think that was number 5 on our team. Haddon, he is a knucklehead.
Yeah,
He's got some issues.
Man.
So it's been a couple of minutes since I saw the video because for some reason I wanted to lag here on StreamYards. But watching it, I'm not entirely sure. I think it was incidental contact.
That was a late little chip. I mean that's what it was.
Yes, but he's running full at him, and he had another Tennessee player behind him, kind of pushing him forward. I think I would have, like, I get it. I probably just wouldn't have thrown the flag and just let the clock run out.
Well,
and then just kind of
I
not
think
letting
the flags
it
were thrown like after it got a little more intense.
Oh
'Cause
yeah,
then, like after the chip, then the Florida guys come in, right? It just set up the cycle. Regardless,
and of course, they do that overall
pulled
in
up.
Florida sideline.
Yeah,
but yeah. Other than that, though, it's pretty fun.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up. I appreciate y'all being here.
Absolutely.
Caleb, Matt.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
Yeah,
Everybody in
appreciate
chat. I hope y'all had fun, and we'll see you next week.
Go Cox.
That's good.
Remember how all this started? And if you forgot, here's a reminder.